Much for joining us at 11. I'm Mike Dunstan.
And I'm Alicia Roberts. Breaking within the last 90 minutes, Governor Brian Kemp ordering mandatory evacuations along the state's coastline starting tomorrow at noon.
And as Georgia gets ready right now, Hurricane Dorian still pummeling the Bahamas after making landfall earlier today. We just received this stunning new video into the newsroom.
They pray for us, pray for Abigail, please. I'm begging y'all. My baby's only 4.
A viewer sending this video. You can see the water getting close to the roofs of the homes. Other videos out of the Bahamas make it look more like an ocean, scattered with pieces of debris floating around. Another video showing the catastrophic damage inside of a home.
Back here in Georgia, the governor is planning to travel to Savannah and Brunswick tomorrow. Again, just within the last 2 hours, he's announced a mandatory evacuation in place along the East Coast starting at noon. We want to get right to meteorologist Molly McCullum. And Molly, you're tracking the storm. Just received the latest update from the National Hurricane Center.
This is the latest information, brand new data with Hurricane Dorian, and you can see just how symmetrical this appears on satellite. And once you start to see that symmetrical appearance, you know you have a very powerful hurricane. This is a Category 5 Hurricane Dorian, 180 miles per hour sustained winds. As this was hitting the Bahamas, making landfall earlier this morning in Elbow Cay, we were looking at wind speeds and wind gusts topping 225 miles per hour, and storm surge anywhere from 18 to 23 feet. This is still over the Bahamas right now because it is moving so slowly to the west at about 6 miles per hour, and it's very unnerving to look at this satellite and just how close this is to the eastern coast of Florida, with some of the far outer bands already lashing areas like West Palm Beach, all the way down even into the Miami area. We have some hurricane warnings out for the eastern coast of Florida, and that does include the Melbourne area as well as Fort Pierce. Even farther inland, we have tropical storm watches in effect, and that's for just the proximity of how close this major hurricane is going to get to the eastern coast of Florida. It will weaken to a Category 4. I don't even like to use the word weaken because that is a very strong hurricane, and move just up the eastern coast. It is still well within the realm of possibility that we could see a landfall on the eastern coast of Florida. Just a small wobble to the west will make all of the difference. Just a couple of miles will make a big difference in the impact, sliding just past the southeastern coast of Florida, where we could see anywhere from tropical storm force winds up to hurricane force winds, depending on the proximity as it passes Georgia. And we'll talk about more of the potential impacts for the southeastern coast of Georgia, as well as Florida, coming up here in just a few minutes, and the rest of our holiday weekend forecast here in Atlanta. Alicia, Mike.
Molly, we will stay close. Meantime, tonight, beaches on Tybee Island are closed to swimmers as Georgia coast gets ready to witness Dorian's impact. Lindsay Goff from our sister station is on Tybee Island with a look at how residents there are preparing.
City of Tybee Mayor Jason Bielderman wants his residents to have a plan and stay up to date on the latest from SEMA through local media reports as well as social media sites, but he says now is not the time to panic. Tybee Island residents are digging their heels in, preparing for what is being called a major hurricane.
We're just getting some sandbags right now just to try to keep the water out of our foyer if we get too much flooding in our yard.
The city of Tybee has already ordered more sandbags for their residents. You can fill up as many as you want anytime at Memorial Park. Residents in the area say they're growing more nervous as they see Dorian move closer to the coastal empire.
It's a little unnerving, but probably only if we stay here would it be, real unsettling. But outside of that, I'm not that worried.
Tybee Mayor Jason Bielderman says to have an evacuation plan, and evacuating has been discussed, but they aren't to that point just yet.
A lot of people who are getting very anxious as they see this monster of a storm not too far away from us. But I want to reassure them that we are working very closely with SEMA to make sure that we have enough time to get people off the Tybee if we have to make that decision.
Mayor Bielderman estimates that with the holiday weekend, there's more than 4 times the population on Tybee Island right now, and he hopes that when Labor Day weekend ends tomorrow and those people go back to their homes, it will make a potential evacuation easier. From City Hall on Tybee Island, I'm Lindsay Goff for CBS 46.
And right now in Florida, the National Weather Service is putting out hurricane advisories for parts of the east coast of the Sunshine State. 9 Florida counties have ordered evacuations. 5 of those are mandatory. In Central Florida, trucks from as far away as Canada gathered at the Daytona International Speedway this weekend. They are bringing equipment to restore power as soon as they can if Dorian knocks it out. And here in Metro Atlanta, folks with ties here to the Bahamas are keeping a very close eye on Dorian. The hurricane, as Molly said, is doing its dirty work as we speak. And today in Atlanta, CBS 46's Yasmina Alston spoke with the Consul General of the Bahamas. And Yasmina, she has to be incredibly worried about folks in her country tonight.
Mike, she is. As more videos come in, the Consul General says it's, of course, a very scary time for people living in the Bahamas and also those here in Metro Atlanta who have family that are in the Bahamas. But she says they are paying close attention.
Not what we would want to see right now. You know, it is a ferocious hurricane. It's a Category 5, the most devastating our country has ever seen.
It's videos like this the Bahamas Consul General in Atlanta has been getting, showing the impact of Hurricane Dorian.
Just knowing what the islands look like, how beautiful they are, how pristine they are, and really enjoying our paradise and comparing it to what we're seeing today has everybody kind of in a very down spirit today.
Those at the Consulate General in constant communication with family and friends who are bracing for impact.
It's terrifying. One of our consulate staff, she has a brother in Abaco, and she got word today that his roof was torn off and that the flood waters are rising. So it's a very real and very scary situation for Bahamians.
She tells me it's hard for those here to see the damage this storm has already done, but they're staying updated and ready to turn to relief efforts.
We're just praying for them right now.
The Bahamas Association of Georgia staying alert as well. Christopher Rooker telling me Hurricane Dorian, nothing like what his country has ever seen.
Bahamians, although they may be away from home physically, but they are mentally and emotionally are there in the country.
And they're asking if you want to send donations to send them to the consulate in Miami because they'll be ready to go down there. And right now they're looking for emergency supplies. Live in Atlanta, Yasmina Alston, CBS 46 News.
Likely the need will be great. Yasmina, thank you. Also here in Georgia tonight, the Civil Air Patrol Southeast region is springing into action. And as CBS 46's Melissa Stern found out, pilots are getting ready to help after the hurricane moves through.
Air crews go up in planes just like this one. They take pictures and send them to response teams so they know exactly where to go and send help.
It's about people helping their fellow citizens.
This will be the 7th time in 3 years that air and ground crews from Civil Air Patrol will provide post-hurricane disaster relief by providing photography from up in the air to state and federal disaster relief agencies.
To try to get the resources where they need to go and to get real-time intelligence on what's going to be happening out there in terms of is this bridge going to be open? Is this dam going to break?
Following hurricanes Matthew, Irma, Maria, Michael, and Florence, crews spent weeks taking thousands of aerial photographs documenting damage on the ground.
To assess the damage to people's homes, to get them the things that they need more quickly.
Civil Air Patrol Southeast region includes about 10,000 volunteers.
You're gratified by doing the work and being able to help, but that's deeply tempered by the thought of the way the storms affected people and their lives.
Their job includes damage assessment, search and rescue, and transport.
A lot of what we do is we take imagery. That imagery is used by FEMA to assess damage so they know where to send their urban search and rescue teams, so where they know where to deploy people on the ground.
They do this every time there is a hurricane or natural disaster, helping thousands of people. They say they will do the same once Hurricane Dorian passes.
People are watching the hurricane carefully, preparing, making sure things are ready to respond once the storm passes.
Air crews will head out as soon as the hurricane passes. And again, they take pictures and send them to agencies like FEMA to make sure that help gets on the ground as quickly as possible. In DeKalb County, I'm Melissa Stern, CBS 46 News.
And the CBS